Thanks for coming back with us here. Feature court number 2. This is Las Vegas, the FIVB Las Vegas 4-star Open, brought to you by P1440. The matchup, Brazil versus China. A pool play on the women's side here. My name is Rich Lamborn, joined again by Casey Jennings. Casey, good matchup here.
Yeah, this is a good matchup. Two long Chinese players looking in the 6-foot range against two quick Brazilian girls that are a little on the smaller side. Gets up. She's got a nice block, good timing, and causes havoc at the net, creating China to hit out in their first side-out attempt of the game.
This is the perfect embodiment of what we were just talking about in the last match, where we haven't seen these Brazilians at all out here on the World Tour. And here they are fighting for pool supremacy in their group.
Yep.
And out to an early 3-1 lead over Wang and Zhu of China.
It looks like Taina is the defender, if I'm not mistaken, is taller than the blocker, which is rare in the sport of beach volleyball, unless you're both 6'6" and 165 like the Chinese team. Twin towers.
Go, 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 go!
Fire too. Good dig, nice pull. Pull and dig, and a great set.
And that's Wang. She's been playing out here for quite a long time, as you mentioned.
Yeah, Wang's been out here for a while.
Very skilled.
You like to see the veterans that have been playing for a while giving back and showing the younger players a couple of tricks.
Yeah, they have a pretty good system for that in China, it appears. They kind of rotate around until they find the right combinations, match up the older and younger players.
Yeah.
It's a good way to go if you've got the athletes to do it. Kind of keeps your system functioning. Oh, the attempted over on one from Victoria.
China always a threat, beach volleyball, men and women. They do the work. They move to California oftentimes 2 years before the Olympics. They get out there in the summertime, the off season, and get to it in the deep sand and get prepared for the next block that they're already being. As Brazil gets a cut shot down right there. I love teams like this. Two little quick whips running around that can get up and smash the ball, but also have a good touch.
Yeah, as we mentioned, nice serve there. Bolsack. As we mentioned, Brazilians always have millions of reps under their belt, very well coached, very structured system they have in the country of Brazil, training all their sports, but particularly beach volleyball.
Yeah, it's really fun. All the coaches that I've been working with in the last year, 3 out of the 4 are Brazilian. I call him R2D2. Arturo is with Marcao, and Andreas have all been coaching me, and Evie Matthews. I've been getting some double days in there, Rich.
Yeah?
But it's fun because I go with the Brazilians and work on the small stuff, the little, almost shrink the court, give you tons and tons and tons of reps, and then I have Evie working on me with my side out and looking at some of the more technical stuff and giving me some good. He's got a great arm, hits the ball, and it's just been fun bouncing back and forth between coaches and getting some good work on both sides of it. Totally different kinds of work.
Nice little shot up over the top that time, Wang. But the Chinese trailing early here in set number 1.
I like Wang's fire right now. She's getting that. She's letting the Brazilians know. I don't know if she plays like this all the time, but she's letting them know that we got some fire and some emotion. Brazilians just staying smooth, up over the top, not letting them know anything. Nice and quiet. Gonna chop you down. Almost pays off. Ball just on the line. Good deep hit. Almost had her make a mistake. She passed that ball short. Set was a little bit off, but she wouldn't have time to back off to get behind that set, so it was a little behind her, and she rips it. Gets the back of that line. Good pass and a big bomb.
I'd like to see that out of these young Brazilians. Just some aggression early. One of the things the Brazilians do a great job at is tactical serving. They went short middle last time, driving it to the sideline of Wang that time. But the Chinese do a nice job siding out.
Yeah, it's they'll move that ball around. I call it cracking the egg. They want to see where that weak spot is in the egg. So they'll test you, and they'll move you around the court, short, deep, flat floater, top spin serve, and they just tactful. As Brazil hits that ball long out of bounds, let's see if she can get it back and keep that 3-point lead. Good vision.
Yeah, nice stroke there. Some tough serving from China, though. Giving the Brazilians a little bit of trouble in serve receive. But vision wins out. And that falls just inside the back line.
A deep, flat floater right to the back line.
It looked like it was going to go long, right? Just kind of fell out of the sky right inside the back line for Brazil.
And she goes for the short.
With the squeal. And
upsetted herself.
Yeah, the Brazilian lead is 3 as we go to the technical timeout here. Set number 1, 12-9. Brazil versus China pool play action here in Las Vegas. The FIVB 4-star Las Vegas Open presented by P1440. Rich Lamborn, Casey Jennings, just the BYU Cougar squad with you all morning.
Beautiful weather. We got a little breeze coming through. What do we got here? What, 71 degrees right now?
That's kind of a deceptive number, though, isn't it, Casey? The sun is very strong out here in the desert of Las Vegas.
Yeah, feels like 65 in the shade, feels like 85 in the sun.
Yeah. Feels like 37 in the casino.
Rich, just in his Speedo, whereas I got a sweatshirt on.
Right.
Some pants. So he's in the sun, I'm in the shade.
One of the things you don't want is embarrassing tan lines. So keep the Speedo on, keep everything tight.
The Crisco oil close. Lather it on, just get fried. Back to action.
Off the block, just wide there. Nice move by Wang at the net.
I think that's Victoria on Brazil. If it is, I apologize if it's not, but she moves similar to me on her side-out game like Juliana, who is a well-known Brazilian.
Just caught a piece of the line, it looks like.
Bronze. Did she get a bronze in London?
Who's that? I'm sorry.
Juliana.
Juliana did not get a bronze, I don't believe.
Did they get a bronze?
No.
Anyway, one of the greatest teams of all time on the women's side, Juliana Larissa, without a doubt, from Brazil. And I'm wondering if she lives in the same city as the right-sider Brazilian team here, Victoria, because she really moves and pops like her. If you watch her get up, as she gets a really tough serve from China down the middle and shanks that out of bounds, making it a 1-point game.
Little comeback on the back of some tough serving from China. Drives that one deep. Nice shot there up over the top.
Springy. I mean, both the Chinese gals are well over 6 foot. And both of the Brazilians, I would guess, looking around 5'7", Rich, you think?
Yeah.
Taller.
I think they're a little bit taller than that.
5'8"?
They're not as tall as their counterparts from China.
And they're just quick. I love it. When we used to first come out on tour, I remember the first couple of years, I'd come home and people were like, how is it out there? And the domestic tour was, I mean, as strong as ever. It was around 2006, 2008. And you go overseas and you try to explain it to guys, you're like, man, it's like Star Wars. You know, you got these 6'4", or on the guy's side, you'd have a 6'6", left-handed Chinese player, and his partner's 6'8", he's the blocker. And then you'd see this Latvian team, they're both 6'2", and they both split block. And it was just like X-Men meets Star Wars, and you'd go out there and see all different kinds of varieties of dragons, lions, tigers, and bears, and it was so fun because you just didn't know, you know, whatever. You had to be able to play so many different styles of teams. And right here is a great example. You have two Chinese players that are looking like 6'4" to me, 6'3" and a half, whatever it is, and these Brazilians just look like little bouncy gazelles, 5'7", 5'9" range. It's so fun to see those matchups, you know. And the Brazilians are up 17-13.
That's right on the back of some great ball control and some good vision out there in their offensive game. There's lots of ways to kill a ball. That's a Hugh McCutcheonism. You don't have to bounce it to get a point. If you do, you get the same amount of points as I get for my jumbo shrimp or my little cutty, right?
Totally.
And so do what works for you and for your team.
A guy like me that hits straight down, pounds balls all the time, it's not going to work for everybody, you know?
Not everyone has your athletic ability and hulking masculinity, Casey Jennings.
I haven't needed to rely on line and cut shots, you know, but some people, you know, it's frustrating. Guys chip away. Guys like Rich Lamborn taking pinkies off. How many blockers tell you, Rich, my pinky, man, still is pointing south because of you back at Nationals 2004?
Hopefully a lot. I don't know that anybody ever admits that, unfortunately.
Just take a look at Mike Lambert's finger.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, that's so pretty. And she's going to be there. They're still in it.
Oh, goodness. That's a tough call. Didn't look like she netted. I thought that was the ball, but in any case, that effort is paid off for the Brazilians. They stay with that play and get the point.
Yeah, a lot of action at the net. The net was moving.
Yeah!
Nice play. Both teams, both great plays out of the net. Those 2 runs right there. Yeah, sometimes the ball hit that net, keep it moving. There's a lot of action up there, reaching up and over. And it might look like the player touched it, but that net might be moving from the ball. I don't know. Maybe he saw it. He's closer.
And Brazilians net this time. Set goes a little close, and the Chinese creep a little bit closer here. 16 looking at 18.
Creeping.
They are serving the ball tough, the Chinese, and that is kind of a hallmark of their game.
It is. I've seen them spend like 14 hours just float serving down in Hermosa Beach.
They get another error to get to within 1. The Brazilians will call a timeout on this side change here. Or will they? That was a fake. That was a pump fake on the timeout call.
Oh, really?
Looked like she indicated the timeout, thought better of it.
If you don't touch your hands together in the T form, if you just do a halfway and never contact, it's a pump fake.
Nicely slapped off the top of the block that time. Taina.
Great play by Taina. She didn't get many balls in the last 6 points, and she was able to pass that, get up on a tight set, put it away.
Ooh, touched on the way out of bounds.
Ouch.
18-19 now.
I saw the Chinese serving practice in 2011 before London, literally spending time trying to implement the new let serve and working on hitting the top of the net so that it would trickle over and get aces. They were that's what they were spending that time on. I thought that was so interesting.
It is interesting to attempt to do that on purpose.
Yeah.
Such little margin for error.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily an ace. If you hit the top and it goes over, it could slow down a really good tough serve and put it right in the player's lap, or it could stay on your side. A lot of risk
here for Brazil, and the jumbo knuckle does find the back line. Brazil takes set number 1, 21-19. They were out in front.
Save.
Yeah, they were out in front most of the way. Kind of stumbled a little bit late, but maintained their advantage, and a nice put away there to close it out. China will look to regroup here coming out into set number 2.
Great save. Way to hang in there and put it away. That ball very well could have gone out. Tight set. She goes up. Pokey jumbo to the corner. Game 1, Brazil. Some good some people coming into the venue today. It's beautiful. Love it. It's looking good. Get some of my people down here from high school I haven't seen in years.
Back out on the court here. Brazil taking the first set, 21-19.
Fill us in. I didn't even recognize Figgy out there. Both these gals been playing plenty of. I thought that was a new Chinese player coming in.
It's a new position for her as she's playing defender.
Yes.
No.
She is a stud and dangerous at the net as well.
4 contacts called.
I feel terrible. I didn't even recognize her. Just sweetheart. Watched Carrie and Misty have so many battles against that team. Now she's got, but this wasn't the partnership.
She won silver in China?
No. She played Carrie and Misty May in 2012 in the semifinals in one of the greatest matches of beach volleyball I've ever watched in my life. And it was insane. It was back and forth, such high level. But these two weren't playing together at that time. She was playing with lefty. And anyway, these two weren't playing together, so now she's playing defense today and doing a great job. It's a dangerous team. She's one of the best players ever.
Agreed. She's been hampered in the last several years with some injuries, which is why we haven't seen much of her, and maybe why she's made that transition to defender to try and alleviate some of the jumps she's got to take, and so forth.
She looks great. She's not getting many balls.
What a play there.
What a dig up the middle. Scoop and a great set. Just came in a little early. Jumped a little early and didn't have a chance to smash that, huh?
No, yeah, the effort really rewarded there that time on the Chinese side.
Man, that was a great scoop.
And that one just off the hands of the blocker Wang at the net. 3-3. Brazil looking to close this out in 2, but should be no easy feat over this experienced Chinese squad.
She made a good pull. She just didn't keep her feet on the ground, stay balanced. She had to kind of do a jump, try to dig that ball. Lost her balance, or it would have been a good play.
A little bit of a scud tweener there.
Yeah.
Off the bat of Zhu.
The flubber. Great pass. Line shot.
Nice put away down the line. That time, Taina. top cross court. A little bit of an early move that time in the backcourt by Victoria, I would say.
Early move?
A little bit early, yeah. Tell us about that as a defender yourself. If you move too early, these players are so talented that they're going to see you and just easily chop it off to the open court, right? Ooh, little collision there. Fouled. They're calling that interference. It's an interesting call.
We don't have a replay on that, so we can't really see. But
your thoughts, though? It went untouched, wide open court down the line, but the players bumped into one another underneath the net, and the blocker got taken out. Brazilian made a great point that the blocker had no play on the ball, so it shouldn't be interference. There's no center line sort of delineating how far underneath the net you can go. The rule is you just can't interfere with the players on that side, correct?
I mean, usually the person that's coming in to attack the ball is going to have a little bit of a broad jump, and they're going to move forward, but it doesn't mean that the blocker can't be close to the net too, and when they jump and land, their knees bend. Sometimes you can both hit the 50-yard line with your knees because of that crouching position that you land in. And in that situation, if that's what happened, it's going to go kind of like a tie goes to the runner, who is, in this case, would be the blocker, because the attacker is the one that is the attacker. And so the refs kind of, I don't know, I wish I could see the replay on that, because it didn't look that bad to me. And sometimes you just get tangled up at the net. Yeah, Brazil hung in there and sided out, though.
China does take a 2-point advantage into this side switch, however. 8-6. Oh, nice put away there on 2 that time. Victoria. Wang had a shot at it, but just died off of her arms. 7 looking at 8 now. Brazil trailing here, set number 2, after taking the first 21-19. And that deep driving serve off the shoulder of Wang levels us at 8.
And now that wind is coming in from that side, so she's got the wind in her face as she's serving that ball. She can hit it a little harder. And then she goes for the short serve again, the exact same thing that she did in the first game, as she served the ball, aced them on the back line, and then she went for the change-up short serve, and it went right into the net. I like her trying to do that, but I would much rather you whip that ball to that back line again with that wind blowing in your face as much as it is. That ball was for sure in with the wind. Without the wind, but the wind took that. The wind's starting to pick up today a little bit.
Yeah, to your point, I despise ending your own scoring runs with service mistakes.
Yeah.
Especially if your last serve was an ace.
Yeah.
You don't need to go for something even more miraculous. That just needs to be on the player and force them.
Thinking a little too much.
Yep.
You know, oh, they're going to get my deep one this time because I just served it there. I'm going to change it up and go short. If you do it, you have to execute. Great rally. Dig for dig, tick for tack. Brazil had a nice scoop 10 feet off the net. Wasn't able to capitalize.
Just got word from our resident meteorologist, Randy Stoklos, that at 11 o'clock the wind was slated to pick up.
Oh, yeah.
How about that for accuracy?
Oh, Stokey, the meteorologist?
Is there any limit to what Stokey knows about volleyball?
Well,
and all the elements that go into it.
Well, I 100% believe him, because if you've noticed in the last 15 minutes, the difference.
Absolutely. I've had to actually put on full-length shorts, Casey Jennings.
Well, those Speedos, easy, just go right over the top with some regular shorts. I mean, you could get your wind skateboard out. Let's get after it. A lot of concrete over here on the strip. You could just take it down. Yeah, Vegas is definitely known for that wind in the afternoon. Similar to Southern California at the beach, but different in the way that it doesn't consistently blow the same direction. Sometimes it's a swirly wind that doesn't go north, south, east, west. It just kind of goes one way for a little while and changes up.
I will never understand why sometimes it's windy and sometimes it's not, and sometimes it blows this way and sometimes it blows that way. But I, for one, am going to absolutely blame global warming.
When in doubt.
And I also don't know what that means either. I'm just going to say it.
Stop driving your car.
Yeah.
Don't use your AC. No more Aquanet.
Nice pick up there. Zhu in the back court. And the put away across court with the pike.
And there's the beautiful thing about being a tall defender, long defender, is when you do get that ball up, you may not be as scrappy as the little one, but when you do get that ball up, your chances of executing the counterattack are pretty high. Brazil using the pokey, deep, short, moving it around. I like this team. I really like them. I'd like to know how old they are, because I would guess that they're in their 19 to 23 range, having never seen them before. China going over on 2.
That was the no-looky cookie on 2. The no-looky fortune cookie right there. Down the line by Xu. That's going to be just long.
As the wind dies down right there. No wind. Now, 30 seconds ago, she hit that serve. It probably drops in, hits the line.
Big bomb there.
Opposed to the no-looky cookie down the line, she had full vision on it.
Full vision.
Followed through.
Looked middle, swung middle, finished middle.
That was a right side line bomber. It's a good dig, good move to the line. She just missed it.
That's got to be an incredibly difficult transition to make, blocking your whole career and then switching over to defending, right? The nuances of playing defense on the beach are so pronounced, I feel like. The reads are totally different. You know, you train so hard and so long for reading the game one way at the net as a blocker to go to nice put away there.
What a great cover.
And the Brazilians creep back to within 1 here, trying to close this out in straight sets. But the Chinese still ahead, 15-14.
Tommy Knox on site. Going to have a workout at 12 o'clock, I think. We got Tommy Knox training some people down there. Tommy Knox, we've been working, Carrie and I have been working with him for 15 years. Love that guy. He's almost as buff as Rich. Yeah, I think the difference, that the tough part going from a blocker to a defender is the speed. Like the reaction time, I think, is a benefit to go from a blocker to a defender, because everything's moving so fast and you have to read up at the net. But the drawback is when you get 20 feet back and now you're looking at the ball coming at you from much further away. The tendency is to be anxious and to come towards the ball, is what I've seen as a lot of blockers do. But I like the transition for him sometimes, because as a blocker, you block, bad set, you pull, and you get chances to dig. As a defender going to a blocker, you don't get chances. You don't get stuck at the net that much as a blocker gets to pull. So I don't mind that transition. I think these tall, long girls, I think it's not a bad move for some of these blockers to go ahead and play defense. Even on the men's side, Jeremy Casebeer and Reed Pretty tend to do it sometimes. I like the Spaniards for sure, and Latvia. They're split blocking. I think it's a nice change-up, and I think it can create headaches for the attackers, the offense. For me, I don't like playing against two guys that split block because one does this really well and the other, and you got to pay attention to who's at the net every single time.
Right, right. One of the advantages, if you do happen to be one of those split blocking teams, is that rather than having to serve and run up to the net, you can focus entirely on your serve, right? I think it gives a server, particularly if you're a jump server, a little bit of freedom to just worry about that rather than thinking, I've not only got to serve this tough, but then I've got to sprint up to the net and defend against whatever result they get from my serve. Ooh.
Whoa.
Just wide. Gonna have a second look.
Yeah, I'm coming to the ref. If I'm the Brazilian team, Victoria going over, but I'm telling the ref, I'd like you to get down and take a peek at that, which they can do. Sometimes you just have to pull them off yourself.
Yeah. The FIVB, they tend to not do that, but they are capable of climbing down. As we know, Casey, everything that goes up must come down.
Oh, he wipes the mark. Look, the line judge tried to go over and wipe the mark, and he missed it. That's called getting rid of the evidence.
Nice play there, Brazil.
That's a huge point. Getting them close to 18-17 needed that as they go to the somewhat bad side, depending on the wind. If it switches, which it seems like it is, it's dying down and gearing up to turn directions. As Stokey is down there with his windmill birdie that spins around and lets you know which way the wind goes.
Nice swing in the cross court there by Wang. Yeah, Stokey sent up a weather balloon. He's collecting data.
He'll be back shortly. Do you think the wind would benefit this smaller team, more ball control? Right now it's 19-18. China's hanging in there.
From a ball control standpoint, I do think that it tends to benefit smaller ball control type teams. But the advantage to being tall is you don't have to make as many adjustments. Nice little pickup here. Brazil, chance to even it.
Less footwork. What a great dig by Piggy. What a great dig she made. Her partner just couldn't get to that ball. Brazil ties it up, Rich.
Ties it up 19, 2 points away from a straight set victory, but those 2 points tend to be the hardest ones to get, do they not, Casey?
Yeah, they sure do. Especially when you're serving.
Ooh. Got caught in between there a little bit, did Victoria, I think. Got the ball hit right to her, but she tried for kind of a in-between South American gator.
I couldn't see it. Stokey's weather balloon was in the way. Stand up. Great serve. That is just, that's the talking part we were talking about earlier. I got the middle, move, mine, and then you call for it. They're going to get a chance to make up for that. Not capitalize. China might get the point here anyway. Brazil still in it.
And stays out of the net. And there it is.
Just a little bit more communication I'd like from the Brazilians, telling her nobody up right there. She wouldn't even touch that ball maybe and let it go over.
Yeah, a couple tough chances there for the Brazilians, but some good play at the end of that set, particularly by the Chinese, levels this match. Both teams scoring 40 points. 21-19, 19-21.
That's what you want the dealer to have, and you to have 21, and the dealer has 19.
Exactly right.
Last night I was going to play a little bit of cards, and I did, and reached into my pocket to, what'd you call it? Reload?
Reload.
Reload. I lost $40 or something, and I went to reload and realized that when I pulled the 40 out, the 300 that I pulled from the ATM had somehow jumped out of my wallet. And I said, man, I think I lost that 300 I just got out. Couldn't find it. Looked around. Checked every pocket 15 times. And the dealer says, you lost some money. She said, how much? I said, $300. I dropped it somewhere. She said, well, you should check lost and found.
For those of you not familiar with Vegas, loose cash often gets turned into the lost and found. Because as Casey, as soon as you withdraw money from the ATM, you write your name and address on those bills, right? If lost, please return to.
My face is on there. I just superimpose it nowadays. I just put your name on there. So I entertained it. I went to the pit boss and said, hey, I lost. I couldn't help but laugh as I'm asking him. As Brazil starts out the third game with a stuff block. Brazil coming in hard. Exclamation point on that comes back at her. So, I tell people I'm down 300, but I'm not down 300. I didn't lose. I lost it. She comes back with a cut shot on that.
You lost it in the more traditional sense,
yeah,
where it actually jumped out of your pocket on its own and tried to get into the game itself.
Popcorn 300 out of my pocket. That hurts, man. I spent 30 minutes just pulling bags apart. I put that. Maybe I put it somewhere else.
Oh.
China with a dig and another chance. That was for a side out.
That was for a side out. Brazil doing a nice job defensively here, but just unable to control a couple of their touches and give themselves really good scoring opportunities. But touches lead to digs, digs lead to points, as I like to say. It's kind of the natural progression. Well left there, and it's 2-2.
Good eye. Another situation where a partner could say out if she knew. If you don't know, you don't want to just say it. But I think that communication, it comes down right now in this third set especially. Each point means way more. Look at this.
Are you kidding me? Finds the buckle.
I've never seen the jumbo shrimp off the block.
Especially from the 3 feet off the net jump swat block dig.
She did. She must have been 3 feet off of the net and blocked that ball with her hand's trajectory up towards the sky and just went jumbo shrimp block to the corner.
If you're joining us on the P1440 app and watching this live, earmark that point right there, 3-2 Brazil, the jump, block, swat, jumbo dig, kill. Rarely seen play in beach volleyball.
I love that play that she just did. I don't do it enough. She gets a tight set low to the net. She's still going to get to the ball before the blocker and realizes that there's going to be a roof over her. So she pokes it up into the block and comfortably covers herself and gets another 1-2-3 pass set hit and puts it away. It's a nice little reset as they get another dig there and get another point going up 5-2. It's such a great play, and you can make blockers go bananas doing that. Oh, you got me? Where some guy's going to come in and maybe give up on that play and reach or just slap it into the block and get stuffed. She stays poised, goes up, pokey up into the block, passes the ball right to her partner and resets and gets a better set and puts it away. It's so nice.
A little 4-point run here from Brazil. The young Brazilians making some great defensive plays, some unorthodox swatty blocky jumbo shrimp to the buckles.
It's pokies into the block. That's all those touches that they give you. They work on those little tiny things. Same with soccer, football in Brazil. The practice court for the kids, I hear, when they're 8 and 9 is the size of our volleyball court. And there's 11, 12 kids in that little square, and they play these different games where they're just touching the ball and moving around. It's not necessarily futsal, it's normal soccer ball. And they just use this smaller space so that when you get to the big space, you have those little tiny baby touches. And the Brazilians showing that right now. And it's pretty to watch. I love it.
That's been the difference to me on this 4-point run is their controlled touches on defense. We saw early that they were having some trouble controlling it, but here again is yet another perfect control and put away. And it's 5 straight now for Brazil. 6 looking at 2. Set number 3 here, pool play action on the women's side.
Good dig. Isn't that pretty? Victoria's in there, in the pocket. Ball comes. It's got that that athletic position and just soaks that ball. And when it hits her arm, she almost soaks it into her whole body, and it comes out soft rather than a ricochet off of her. Great little defender, man.
Xu puts an end to the madness for her squad as the wind picks back up.
There it is.
Yeah, that set kind of blew on her, right? She lost sight of it. And we'll switch sides, 6-4.
It's so sporadic. The wind is gone for a minute, and then it comes back, and on that play right there, she got a nice gust of wind.
Another tough serve from China, as we're accustomed to seeing. And the knuckle pokey over in the angle for Brazil. She really does a nice job over there, does Victoria. Controlling that knuckle. She can go both ways with it. It's a great touch.
Short, deep. She's moving that thing around. Jumbo pokies. There's another scoop. Just couldn't control that one on her side of the net.
Well played by the Chinese. The on-2 play that time from Wang and Xu.
Oh, man.
Now the service error. The Brazilians elated.
Yeah, you get a freebie like that in the third game, up 3, and they give you one.
Chance to exhale for the young Brazilians. And, ooh, that looked like it might have been going long as well. Tight to the net. Nice cover there from Xu. Oh, another great cover. And go ahead. Nice, great. Those are heartbreakers if you're Brazil, right?
Yeah.
Just some great work at the net, but some even better work in the backcourt from Xu.
Great coverage. She's right there doing the right thing on the block, throwing it back. But China hanging in there and scrapping for that. 8-6 Brazil. Pretty line shot.
Nice side out right there for Brazil. Sometimes those double coverage, those effort plays can be just the thing to kickstart you if you're finding yourself in a hole as a team, right? But Brazil does a nice job to side out immediately to make sure that that doesn't happen. At least not yet.
Yep. In beach volleyball, points tend to come in runs, you know, which means if they score 1 point on you, the percentages of them getting one back-to-back are pretty high. And so what you work on in practice is giving up one and getting that ball back immediately. Little higher set. China's showing some small ball control.
Yeah. A great little contortion of the body there that time by Wang to have her lower body going to the left and her upper body coming back to the right to get that ball up. And that one's going to go just long. Nice touch in the backcourt, Xu, but Wang unable to control it.
Isn't that funny when your partner gets a crazy dig that you might not have been expecting, and your reaction on the second ball is to just get it over the net rather than trying to get it to your partner to give one more shot. Oh!
The sideways cutty.
What do you call that? The Dyson machine?
The Dyson machine?
Infomercial Ginsu knives.
That was very Ginsu knife-ish. Cuts equally as well through a tin can and a tomato.
There it is.
Ooh, that
right through a shoe. And the service errors, they're gaining some momentum.
Uncharacteristic of Xu's veteran status there with that service error. Trying to go a little bit too short there. The Brazilians take a 2-point advantage into this side change. 11 looking at 9. 4 points away from a victory here, but lots of game left still in this third set.
What do you think, Rich? What do you think? You need this side out. That's big.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these young Brazilians perform kind of under pressure. It's so hard to close out teams no matter who you are out here. But certainly if you're the less experienced team, sometimes you tend to press a little bit at the tail end of matches, right?
Maybe swinging a ball you've been shooting at. There's that pokey tight set.
Nice dig in the back court.
Big trouble on 2. Oh, got it. Wind's blowing. Tough ball to get to. Who's going to the net to block? They switched. Blocker becomes defender. China puts that away.
A little bit of a shaky bit of ball control there in the middle of that rally for Brazil. I think ultimately cost them in that rally, and we're tied at 11. So anybody's ball game at this point. Who's going to steady out?
Taina has been setting Victoria a little tight consistently, and she's been getting away with it, but it's a matter of time that it's going to catch up to you. And China with another great serve. Swirly. Oh,
that one goes
checked that
just
mark.
long.
It's another mark check, Rich. Isn't it? I don't know what he's...
You always got to check that mark.
You got to get down and check that mark.
As the breeze comes back, a little bit of a vengeance here. China goes on a 3-point run, down 11-9 at the side switch. Now they lead 12-11. A little bit of sign of nerves from the young Brazilians, I would say. But credit goes to China as well for some tough serving that's forcing the Brazilians into some tough side-out situations.
Yeah, I agree. Before that tough serve, they were passing, I don't know, 40% better up, closer, maybe still in the middle of the court. But end of a game, you start thinking a little bit too much, and you start to lose the form on the ABCs, and you're rushing. So now you're looking to end the game instead of just slow down and stay with the ABCs, get your feet back there, pass that ball up to the net, and like you're saying, that comes with being seasoned.
Comes with experience, right? We talked a little bit about narrowing your focus in difficult moments yesterday.
Great pass and set, and there's the put away for the tie.
Yeah, the wind calmed down a little bit during that play too, right? Made it a little bit easier, but the Brazilians do a nice job controlling that ball, getting the put away to level us at 12.
Kind of the good side here for the Brazilians as far as the win, but great pass and set by China, and a dig, another dig. I'd like to see how many digs she has in this match. Now there's a mismatch.
That's where height comes into play there, huh? That set was pretty tight. A bigger blocker maybe swallows that up a little bit, but the slightly undersized Brazilian.
She got stuck at the net. She's been back there digging tons of balls, and her partner, I almost want her to go up, grab her arm and tell her to get back on defense. You've been killing it. Let me get up here. Sometimes you don't have time to get stuck. Another tough serve. And a great set. And sixer.
Brings us to match point for the Chinese here. That was a tough chance for Brazil, I think. She tried to do, I like her being aggressive there, but that was maybe a touch excessive.
Yeah, she really wound up. See, just on something like that, you see the difference in control and speed and precision when you put that ball away.
Another match point here for China. And that'll do it.
I think you kind of called that, Rich.
It's a great match from both teams. I mean, 2 points was the differential.
2 points. The Brazilians hung in there and seemed to be controlling the match most of the match to me. But in the end, China came through with some nasty serves and created some problems for Brazil and took them down. But a Brazilian team you might not want to run into, looking good, but there's a lot of teams out there with some bite, so there's going to be some good battles coming into that contenders bracket, man, whoever does make it out of there.
Absolutely, and a lot to be encouraged by if you're the Brazilian team. I mean, that's a good seasoned Chinese squad that you just went toe-to-toe with and fought tooth and nail. A little bit of loose contacts late in the set were maybe the difference. But those are things that you smooth out with time on the court and experience, right?
Yeah.